Good morning, everybody. I think we'll wait a minute. We got some folks coming in. We're super excited to be here with you. We got our friends at Rapattoni. We'll introduce them in a minute. And of course, you've got the dynamic duo of Jay and Hud. Here we are.
Morning, everyone.
I hope we are. We'll see how dynamic we are, Jay. But
yeah, we'll see after today.
We'll see after today. Today's gonna be fun. Kind of give you a roadmap. We're gonna look at the new MLS 11, which is an updated Rapattoni interface. To say that they're iteratively building this is true. They're building section by section to update the entire Rapattoni ecosystem. Jay and I have seen this and looked at this for the last year and a half. We've had some beta testers checking it out. We've been involved with the product team. So to say that, we also were very measured about when we want to launch this, and we'll talk about that in a bit. We know that it's been a busy time for everybody this year. There's been a lot of changes. So our intention is not to pull the ripcord in October of 2024 and move you to a new system. Today's goal is to get your first exposure to the new Rapattoni MLS 11 system. And then we will not be rolling this out in the next month, next 2 months, likely the next 6 months, meaning you'll have access to it as of today to check it out and give us feedback, but it will not be a mandatory change until sometime next year. We're really taking a note from previous rollouts in the past, and also, software updates, zip forms, DocuSign. Sometimes that you get the rug pulled out from under you. We're not trying to do that today. We're trying to get you check out the new workflow. And Jay, you and I have spent a little time kicking the tires here, as has the MLS team, right?
Yeah, we've had about 100 people accessing this new system already and playing with it. And like Hud's saying, it's great the way that you can check it out. You're going to be able to do that today in your own login to the MLS. You'll be able to turn it on yourself today if you want. But if you see something that doesn't work for you right now, you can still go back to the current 10 way of doing things. So you're going to get a chance to try it and really actually look at it in production in the actual system where the real data is. It's not a test system, and you can see how it works and how it works for you. And if you see a problem or you see something that doesn't work the way you need it to right now when you're doing business, you can just switch back to it's called exit beta, and you can go back to the current way of doing things.
And the MLS 10, as we call it, right?
Right. And I think we've got enough people attended here now. It looks like the list of attendees is climbing. That's great. But I think it's okay for us to think about getting started here in the interest of time.
Just one quick check. We had someone say there's no sound, but could we just get a thumbs up from anybody else to say that they do have sound? I want to make sure this is not a problem for anybody else, please.
Joy, can you hear us? I'm just going to unmute you for a second.
Looks like sound is okay. Pauline says the sound is fine.
Okay, great. Okay, good stuff.
And I will just also say that we are not going to, any questions, please put in the Q&A. You can, raising your hand is not gonna, we're not gonna be calling you guys for raising your hand. So please just put your questions in the Q&A, or I don't know if chat is enabled. No, chat is not enabled. It's just Q&A, and the Rapattoni team and Jay and I will answer those questions for you. So beyond that, Jay, why don't you kick it off and introduce our friends at Rapattoni?
Sounds great. So like Hud says, here we go with MLS 11. We're excited to roll it out to you. We've got some of our good friends at Rapattoni here, people that I've been working with for quite a long time. We've got Philippe here and Wyatt. They are experts on the system, and they're going to give you the look at MLS 11. They're going to show you how it was intended to work and some of the advantages of this new workflow. And then we'll take some of your questions along the way. So why don't you guys introduce yourself a little bit and let's get started.
Awesome. Thank you, Jay and Hud. And my name is Felipe Martinez. I am the implementation training lead. And with us, we have Wyatt Jackson. He is our implementation training specialist. And we're going to be going over the new MLS 11 optimized workflows and features. And some of those items that we're going to be discussing are how to opt in and out of the beta. So once you have the whole feature enabled, you can opt in and out as you please. And we'll show you how easy it is and seamless it is once you do that. Once we go through MLS 11 and show you all the features, I'm sure you won't want to go back, but we'll show you how easy it is to do that. And with MLS 11, it's just we're going to show you the new tools and faster loading for reports, displays, and how you can get all of the information on one screen, one location, instead of having to go in and out of different pages to print reports, generate reports, run searches, and all that, those fun things. So with that said, I do want to mention again, like HUD mentioned, we do have a Q&A section at the bottom of your Ring Central webinar. So if you do have any questions, please type those in. And we're going to go ahead and get started here. So Wyatt, go ahead and take it away. And we're just going to turn off our screens here so we don't distract the presentation. It's all yours, Wyatt.
All right. Thank you, Phil. And before I get started, can you guys all see the webinar okay? You guys can
Yes,
still
sir.
see MLS? Awesome. So thank you guys for joining. This is a big change to the MLS system. This is going to save you guys a lot of time in your workday. And I want to show you what you're seeing today. As they said, you are going to have this opt-in option available as of now. And I want to show you, if you go in, run a search. I'm just going to run one of my recent searches that I've run a million times in the past. I'm going to take you to those same results that you've seen in the current MLS 10 system, as HUD referred to it. And at the top, you'll see that there is going to be a beta new listings workspace available. Click here to try it out. This is your entry ticket into the MLS 11 beta system. Just doing that one tap from the regular search screen that I've done is going to snap me directly back over into this new system. This is just instant. It's a transition, and we're going to show you at the end of the webinar how to leave the system as well. So just diving right into the new search results of MLS 11, I do want to point out that there is a lot of shift in where these icons are located, and this is all done to kind of be more convenient for you as the user. Before, in the search, you had a lot of options in the upper left-hand corner in this blue action bar, as we refer to it. You now have just the revised criteria, view criteria, and the ability to save a search just directly right here at the top left of the screen. And we're going to dive into where you can access all your old actions and different items from before. If you have a custom grid that you've been working with, I know right now you're displaying on that default one-line grid, you can still customize this. This is not like stuck in stone. This is still something that you can change, and this is done right here in the left-hand side on the setting icon here. This is where you can go to customize the grid. If you have custom grids already set from the old system, those do carry over into the new system. And up here on the right-hand side, this is where you're going to start seeing the new stuff for MLS 11 and really kind of how to transition between different parts of the system in a very quick, instant way. Right now, we are highlighted on the grid. You'll notice this light blue teal color on grid. That is letting us know that that is the display section that we are set on. Selecting the dropdown, you do have your available grids here. So right now we're on the default of the one-line grid. I have my cluster grid remarks. Selecting the settings gear icon in the grid is going to show me my available grids. So I do have one grid that I don't want showing. I know it's there, but it is unchecked here on the right-hand side. And for the default, we landed on that one-line grid when we ran our search. That is up on the left-hand side of the grid settings. You can select the grid that you want to appear every time you run your search. So you're not stuck with the one-line grid. If you want to have a custom grid, you can set it here. To change the grids, you just can select the dropdown. Go down. I'm going to go to my cluster grid here. This is going to update the grid immediately like the old system did, but this does have more options with cluster items. This can be added in the managed grid option. You'll notice here we have like the square foot per square foot lot size, bed bath subtype. These are little information boxes that are going to give you quicker access to information right from the grid. So instead of having bed, bath subtype laid out as different categories here, they're now just squished into one to make information quicker, more accessible for you. Going to go back to the one-line grid here. You do have the ability to still sort by stuff here. So we can actually still sort like the old system. So if I grab like property condition and drag it up, type, and let's do subtype description. You'll notice that you can sort these, so you can see here right at the top, this is sorted by property type, subtype, description, and attached, and it's letting you know that there are 17. And going down, these breakdowns are now just immediately broken up by section as I go down. And a huge thing of MLS 11 is before, when you had search results, you had 50 results per page. If you were sorting, you still had to tab through the pages. A big part of this system, this is now one screen. We're looking at 137 listing results. I can now just scroll down and I don't have to go page by page.
Wyatt, I'm going to ask you to hang on for 1 second. I've had 2 people now say that they couldn't hear you specifically. So let's just hang on 1 second here and check.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I think we're actually okay, but let's see if we can let them figure it out.
And for everyone, there is at the bottom left an area where you join audio. So if you haven't joined audio, there is an option at the bottom left. There's a little up arrow.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, we're not having audio. And we've got sort of conflicting reports of hearing. Fortunately, we're recording this video, guys. This is a video that is being recorded. This section might be edited out right now, but it is being recorded. Apologies if you can't currently hear. Okay, now I'm hearing people can hear.
Okay, great.
So.
Well, let's carry on. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, no, it's okay. I want to make sure that you guys can hear me. So
right on.
Part of the deal.
All right. So as I was saying, just any results that you get in MLS 11 are going to be available in just one congruent page. You're not going to have to tab through pages anymore. This is all information that is accessible right away. You can unsort your listings here. So if you sort, you do your work, you want to unsort, once again, you can select this X at the top here. Moving on to the right of the search results, you now have the action panel on the right here. You'll notice you have this view manage listing button, and going down, you have the ability to view a tax record, view agent office info, contact listing agent, contact selling agent, and you'll notice that the contact selling agent is grayed out. Right now, my search is directed at active status listings, so there's no selling agent, so it will be grayed out just to be as a kind of reinforcing factor. You can view the history, view neighborhood, view map, post to social media, report violation, find comps, and scrolling down, you still have access to your prospecting. You have your folder, your cart, you can build a CMA, run statistics, and all of your third-party SSO links are going to be available here at the right-hand side. This is also going to be something you can access if you scroll to the right of your grid. You will have access to the old icons. So in the old MLS 10 system, you did have access to the property history, tax information, photos, etc. With these grid icons, these are still present, but all these options have been added to this quick panel here on the right to save you from having to scroll to the right side of your grid, find the icons. You now have a quick way to access them here.
And real quick, I just want to mention that based off feedback from the beta testing, over on the right-hand side, we did get requests to have a feature to favorite your most used links or actions on the right-hand side. So in a future release from feedback, we will be introducing a favorites feature where you can favorite your most used actions on the right-hand side and have everything at the very top.
All right. I do want to show you, you can still directly print from the grid here. You can check, uncheck listings you're working with, and up here on the top left, I can still uncheck all my listings. I can select a few that I would like to print. And if I just want to view the 4 that I'm printing, I don't want to delete the whole search, but I just want to focus in on this grid item, and I want to kind of see this. On the right-hand side above this action panel we just covered, you will see this little eye. And what this is doing is this is going to hide the unchecked listings. So I check the 4 that I want to print. I check the eye here on the right, and immediately it's going to just hide the unchecked, and then that can be deselected and reselected, and it will kind of shift there. If your search results weren't like sorted completely how you wanted, you can actually adjust the sort by the 3 little lines on the sides, because we were sorting by status and price. And just like the MLS 10 system, this sort by is still available. You have the drop down of what you can sort your searches by. We're going to close that. And then to prints, and in future iterations of MLS 11, this is actually going to be switched to a download button. Right now that this is viewable as print, when we move into the displays and reports, based on feedback, people felt it was more of a download rather than a print. And once you download the displays and reports, you can choose whether to kind of save them as that PDF file, print them out. And you have these options here from this drop down. So right now, my default is starred. This is the print checked. If I select print checks, it's going to let me know that it's preparing my document, and it will print out the grid here. So it will open up in a new tab. And the reason that we're shifting it to the download button instead of the print button is once it opens up into this view, on the right-hand side, you do have the option to download as a PDF or print. So it's just a one-stop shop for both options. Some people want to keep it digital, or you can print it physically in paper. So that button is just becoming the generic download button. We're going to close that out. We're going to uncheck here so we get our search results back. And I do want to move into displays. Phil, were there any questions specifically on the grid before I jump away from it?
No questions.
All right, I'm going to uncheck these. We'll check all. A big part of MLS 11 is going into the new display system. And there's a couple ways to do that. If you guys run your search, you snap into the one-line grid, you see a listing you want to look at more in detail right away, you click the listing number on the left-hand side, it is going to immediately snap you into the displays. And if this is something you didn't want to do, you weren't done with the grid, don't worry, you can jump right back. Like I said in the beginning, in the upper right-hand corner here, you have the teal highlight of what you're looking at. So we were on the grid, we jumped over to displays, and just immediately, if I want to go back to the grid, I can tap grid. It snaps you back and it highlights the line in blue of the last listing you were looking at. So that's your focused line there. It's going to let you know, hey, this is what you were working with. But selecting these listing numbers will take you right into that display. You'll notice here on the left-hand side, this listing pin card, we call it, is kind of pushed out to the right. This is your focused view for MLS 11. This is the system letting you know that, hey, this is the listing you're looking at. If you select a pin card on the left, it will just seamlessly transition to the next listing. And it will bring out and show you on the right that this is the listing that you're focused on. You can change the displays you're looking at. So in the prior system, we had reports. Reports and displays have kind of been unified into this one area. So on that teal display highlight, I can go up, hit the drop down, and I can see the available list of displays. So here you have your full listing detail through your client summary. If you had reports and displays that you used in the previous system, these are still accessible. They have not been removed. In the upper right, you can select the gear just as we did with the grid. Selecting the gear icon, you can go down and you'll see the checked off displays that are available in that list, that full listing detail to the client summary. And going down, you do have the old displays, which are marked with the legacy tag here. You'll see legacy along all these, but these can be checked off and added to your list if you'd like to include these in reports.
Wyatt, let me interrupt real quick here.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So would you mind going back to just the standard or the displays, the primary ones? So you'll notice that you have 5 of these. These were all worked out with a subcommittee in MLS and Tech. So we went through all of the displays sort of painstakingly to make sure that we, put some more stuff up above the fold. You notice that open houses are showing up a little bit more visibly. It's a more modern look and feel. We are purposely having them set to these 5 when you first log in. The reason being is it's new, right? So if you want to go back to the old system, you can go back to the old system. You can see your old reports, but think of this as the new MLS 11 with these new functional reports that have been redesigned for you and for your clients. As Wyatt said, you can always go in and look at the legacy reports and you can add them to your view. But I'd really encourage you to work with these. There's going to be opportunities to update some of the other reports, but what we did as a team is we looked at the highest used reports. I know I'm doing the same thing, Wyatt. I'm calling them reports and displays, but in the legacy system, we looked at all the highest used reports, and these were the top 5. So we did some analytics to get to where we are. but things change, and we may do some updates to the other ones, but I just wanted to point that out. When you first log in, you should be seeing these 5. If you don't, please let us know, and we'll help you get those set up for you. Thanks, Wyatt. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, of course. These displays here, you can switch these like immediately. If you want to go down, select the client listing detail, these displays will rotate in immediately, and selecting a listing pin card will switch the display, but it will stay on the selected display. So I switch down to that detail display. I'm going down, it's staying, and it will immediately switch as you go through your different listings. These displays are interactable. So here, these blue links that are highlightable, these are actually link outs. If I select email me, for example, it will actually open up my default email application. I can close that out. So just because they're lit up blue, that's actually something that you can click on and expand on. So these reports these displays are interactive, and you can go back to the original one here and really just explore what's available to you. I mean, this is just quick access to these displays. You can go through your listings with just one click. I haven't left the screen here to switch displays to look at a different view of the listings. I'm still in that initial search to display. I haven't left that. And that is a key of MLS 11, is how everything is accessible in this center pane here. And even expanding further on that, moving along the right-hand side of this action bar at the top here, we have pictures. So if I select pictures, it's going to immediately show you the MLS 11 photo gallery view. And this is not something that you have to go and select for each listing that you go on. Once again, with MLS 11, if I go to the left-hand side and I select a different listing to view, you'll notice that the gallery is updating immediately based on what my focus listing is. So you don't have to research a new listing, open up the gallery in a new tab, look at it. It's all just immediately available right here in the center. Selecting a photo is going to bring you into the zoomed in gallery. So we can take a look at the right here. You can expand it in the top right of the gallery. And then selecting the X in the top right will take you back to the full MLS 11 gallery view. Moving on to the right, if the listing has virtual media, this will link you out to like YouTube example for a virtual tour. This will link you out here. To the right of that, you have documents. Selecting documents, any available documents will be immediately viewable here, PDFs, etc. So here, this document of the floor plan, I can scroll down and I can view it directly from the center of MLS 11. If there are multiple documents tied to a listing, you'll see here on the bottom left corner of the center, this is the document I'm highlighted on. If there was multiple, I could go through and select them as such, and it would just immediately snap to the next document. You can even view these listings on a map without leaving your search here. So to the right of documents, you do have the map option. So selecting map, this is going to bring you into the interactive map view without actually leaving your search. You don't have to open up a new tab. You don't have to pull open a map. We're still in the same area we started. This is a fully interactable map, so I can actually zoom in. I can move it around without moving away from this search. I can apply layers to this search. So if I select layers, I go down to, let's say, administrative, and I select zoning. This will bring the zoning layer into view. And once again, with MLS 11, if I select another PIN card, it's going to snap me directly to the map location of that new listing, and it will carry the layers that you're working with over. So as you can see, I went from that listing PIN card down to this one, and et cetera, moving down even to a third. You don't have to pretty much reapply the layer for each listing you're looking at or rerun a search. You can just snap between your view. The layer will stay around and so forth. So I can actually deselect the layer here. Can close this. Can go back up to my original listing. And if you want to go back to that zoomed out view that we started in the upper right-hand corner with map, if you select that drop-down arrow, you have this all listings button. Selecting all listings, this is going to take you to that zoomed out view, and that's back where we started with that interactive map. And I do want to show how to kind of print multiple displays. Are there any questions on the kind of action items there, Phil?
No questions so far.
Yeah, I'd make a comment. One of the things that I like the agents and the brokers and managers that are watching this video notice that all the, when you look at MLS 10 versus MLS 11, there's several clicks where you have to leave the work that you're working on, come back to it. What you're seeing here is a fully immersed experience where, you have your selections, you have your actions, and everything just follows you. So it's not this drill down like a deck of cards having to get to what you're looking at. So I think, Jay, and I really think this is a great improvement in the existing system. Carry on. Thanks.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to jump back to the display. So we were in that map view here. We went through the documents, media, pictures, displays. I am going to jump back to the display, but there is another way to do this. All this information that we're accessing, you do have on this focus pin card on the left, you'll have these icons underneath. These are the same buttons you have on the right, but just a quick access. So if I want to go back to my display, I can select the left icon here. Will take me back to my displays. And we do have access to the photos like we covered. You can view that map. You can view even property history is available for this. So selecting property history under the pin card and selecting different listings, this is going to snap you between the property history depending on what you're focused on. You have the ability here to view documents, the tax information, virtual media, and even share to social media, etc. So you have all these quick actions available on the far right-hand side of the screen in the action panel. You have quick ways to get to it in the top right in that white display panel. And then you have the icons on the left, which will even kind of save your mouse movement. It's all about convenience for you as the user. So once you get used to how this system works, you'll find that you will use very few clicks to get where you need to go. And it will all be preference on kind of how you want to manage that. But this is the way that MLS 11 was built to work. So moving to how to print multiple displays and reports. Same way as we printed the grid, it's going to be updated to that download button here on the right. Once again, you can select this drop down. You have this button here to print multiple items. So if I select print multiple, this is a very neat feature of MLS 11 where I can add displays, grids, documents, everything I want to print. It creates this package that you can download or print. And so if I go to the left-hand side and select displays, and I go down, I have access to all these different displays here. So we looked at, for example, we looked at the full listing detail today and the client listing detail. I really like the information on each of these. I want to keep those. So we're going to select those for the display. We're going to close the displays. The grid, I want to see information on the cluster grid that we covered earlier in the presentation. So I'm going to add the cluster grid to this printout. Documents, if there are specific documents you want to print out and add to this print package, you can here. And then you also have the option to add agent office information, property history, the map reports, neighborhood reports, and photos can also be added. Selecting generate package here, this is going to let you know that the package will be ready shortly. Please check the notification center for the package link. Notification center is actually located in the upper right-hand corner of the MLS. So you'll have this bell icon here. Selecting the bell icon is going to let you know that the package is processing. And then once it is ready, it will pop up with a notification. And you can see it will show presentation package ready. So if I view the package, it is going to show you have the displays here. So we have that detailed display. Going down, you do have all the different listings in the different detailed display views. And I can keep scrolling. Everything will be available based on the reports that you selected here for the printout. And then at the very bottom, your cluster grid will be available in that textile view. So you can customize exactly what you're printing out. You can print multiple versions of it. This is just a big part of MLS 11 to save you a lot of time. You can kind of clump them all together and get all the displays printed out once and ready. All right. Do I have any? Oh, go ahead.
White, on the right-hand side, under print, can you show them the favorites action under the print?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I do want to touch on these icons as well.
Perfect.
So if I jump back to the grid, this is something that can save time even searching within the grid. You do have this little search magnifying glass here on the right-hand side. Before, you would have to Control F like you were trying to find something in a page. And if you select search, and for example, if I type in updated and I hit enter, you'll notice immediately on the left-hand side, you have the updated/remodel. And what this is doing is anywhere in the page that the keyword I selected, it's going to highlight for you. Every word will be lit up in yellow. Every word that you're highlighted and focused on will be lit up in orange. So if I go down, you'll notice that the orange highlight moves. So this is a quick way of, instead of filtering and sorting, if you just quickly want to see, I want to look at all the listings in the property condition of updated, remodeled, type in updated, and it will just sort and kind of show you, and it will snap the page down too, because you don't have to cycle through pages. You don't have to tab through each 50 results. It's now one long list of results. So everything that you need to see, the system will know, and it will adjust the page and kind of show you there. And also another cool feature of MLS 11, for me, I wear super thick glasses. I'm extremely blind. There's a zoom filter built into the MLS 11. So if I want to zoom in, I can actually hit the zoom in option, and it will zoom in the information that I'm viewing on the screen here. And if it's too zoomed in, you can actually zoom out. So it will let you go below 100 as well. So that is a feature there. Close that. And then we will get it back to 100 and close it here. The last piece that I do want to show you guys, I'm going to move back to displays. So once again, we're on the grid. We're going to move to displays. If you want to kind of clean up your workspace here, you have your results kind of drilled down the way you want. There are on the left-hand side here, this little arrow icon, and on the right-hand side, the little arrow icon. So selecting these, if I collapse them, this is going to make the center display area in a much more focused view. You'll notice the listings on the left-hand side are now condensed into these smaller pin cards. So this is just another way to kind of view. If you want to clean up your space, really focus in on the center of the screen, that is a way that you can do that here. You can expand them once again. And I want to jump into hot sheet searching, Phil. Is there any questions here?
No, we're good.
Okay.
The only thing I would add here is all the action items you see on the left under the picture, under the display, under the picture on the left, a lot of those action items are on the right. So guys, as you're exploring this new system, there is some redundancy, and that's intentional so that you can easily get to your different views or your documents as wide as has his mouse on. But when you go over to the right, to the view your managed listings, we're calling those action items. And even if you scroll down even further down to where we have our SSO links, I don't know that we've covered that. These are our when you want to make an offer, when you want to look at real reports, which is one of our newest offerings for property reports, the action items that you're used to, or the SSO links that you're used to seeing under the bottom of the display, you're now going to see them to the right. So I just want to make sure that everyone is aware of where things are. Thanks, Wyatt.
Oh yeah, of course. This is the last piece of this. I want to show you guys how the hot sheet search has been updated to MLS 11. And what I'm going to do, just going to run a recent hot sheet that I ran. So going to my recent searches, going to hit that hot sheet. And it's going to take you into a similar view that we just saw with the search results that I ran before. You'll notice here on the top left-hand side, it will have the hot sheet search results. So you now know that you're looking at the hot sheet. It will automatically sort by change type. But the cool piece of this is if I move to displays, so we're on the grid view of the hot sheet results, but if I move to displays, that's where this really shines in MLS 11. You are now broken down by your change types. And this is very, very visually easy to read. On the left, you'll have these options here. Right now, we're under the new listings. You have the ability to jump to your change type of price increases, decreases. So if I just hit like contingent, for example, the system is immediately going to sort and jump me to my contingent results. You'll notice you'll have the new listing section. This actually collapsed and expanded the contingent section. So now I can see the contingent items. If you want to collapse all and see what you're working with, this little icon with the arrow here, this will collapse all the sections immediately. So you'll have the ability to view, new listings all the way through inactive, and you can pick the drop down that you want. You don't have to tell the system. You can actually just manually go ahead and grab it. The status will, for the hot sheet, will be up here on the right-hand side of the pin card, and you can move through the results. So this is a very clean and easy way to see what you're working with hot sheets. So I kind of implore you to just come in here and explore this, and it is really convenient.
And I noticed when you looked at that new listing on the top, Wyatt, let's show them. I believe it had a open house. If you click on that one on the top, you can start seeing that. See, if you scroll down a little bit, this is where the upcoming open houses are going to show up, and your broker tours. That is your tour area, and it's dynamic in that if there's no open house, it's not gonna show up. If there's no broker tour, it's not going to show up. So I want to make sure that we pointed that out as a nuance to our system.
And the last piece I want to show you guys, in the upper right-hand corner of MLS 11 right here, you have the settings gear icon. You also notice a leave beta button, which I'll touch on in a moment. So here in the settings, if I select that gear, you're going to have a few options here. You can change the theme to dark. I know some people like dark mode. So if you want that dark mode for MLS 11, you can update it here to dark by selecting dark. You have your default option again here for your view. So we have it set to grid. So what this means is when I run my search, wherever I run my search, the results are going to snap me to the grid view. If I prefer the displays that we've been looking at through this whole presentation, and I'd rather view things in displays immediately, you can select displays and it will update that there. For the settings pane here, what this means is the pane collapse and expand that I showed you guys, where I selected that arrow. You can see it right here on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side. Selecting these, you can select what state you'd like it in. So if you would like it the last way you had it when doing your search, you can leave it as last selected. If you'd like the search results to always be collapsed, that means there'll be that smaller kind of hidden away version. You can set it to collapsed for the listing pane, and same for the action pane on the right. You'll have the option to hit that collapse and expanded. So this can really kind of narrow down your searches, and you can see exactly how you want your results to appear every time. And hitting save, just as the example, you'll see that the dark mode will update for any user that prefers that darker view. But we'll switch it back to the light theme by hitting the settings, going to light and hitting save. And then the final piece of this is leaving the beta. You have the option to opt in, but if you want to go back to the old view, you do have the button here to leave beta. And even if you hit this by accident, if you select this, it's going to say, hey, are you sure you want to leave the beta? You hit leave beta. I do want to point out that from your searches here, this yellow button doesn't disappear. You do have the option to select this to jump right back into the MLS 11 option. So if you hit that leave beta, and you kind of get back to this and you're like, well, where did MLS 11 go? I want to go back to it. Selecting this yellow bar will immediately snap you right back into the view. So it's just the available option right now for you to kind of go back and forth between the systems. And I think that is it. Did I have any questions?
No questions, but Mike, can you go back to leave beta?
Oh, yeah,
quick. And hit the leave beta button. So there's also another option at the far right, that little X. If you, for some reason, hit that X, go ahead and hit it. Why? It's just going to ask you, when would you like to be notified next? So, White, go ahead and hit never. Hit apply. So let's just say you hit never, and you really want to get back to the MLS beta. In your, if you go up to the admin, your preferences, at the very bottom, you can opt back into it.
Okay, great. Thanks for showing that. That was fooled me once. How to get back to it.
Yeah, you just select the little opt-in checkbox and hit the save button top left, and
then you're back in. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's great. Surprisingly, no questions other than questions on sound, and I think we moved past that. So guys, this is your first preview of MLS 11. Looks like all 80 of you that have joined. I think we're gonna make our best effort to get this video edited and up and running on our SFAR social, our YouTube channel today. So those that may have had sound problems or access or want to review it will have the opportunity to see it. I know there's some other opportunities for training that we're discussing for the rest of the year and even into next. Jay, is there anything you'd like to bring up in terms of trainings that we have scheduled, or what we're going to be doing in terms of learning more about it and working with our participants?
Well, the one thing I will say is we really encourage you to dig in and take a look at this. If you're listening to us today and you saw this today and you do take an effort to spend some time in here, maybe a couple of hours, you even try running some CMAs, you try doing some tasks in here, please email us and let us know that you've really kicked the tires. We have a workshop we're running for people who've actually sort of experienced it, where we'd like you to come and give that feedback directly. And when you do that, when you come to give that feedback, you'll have an opportunity to talk to HUD and I, and we'll be categorizing changes in terms of like things we think we need to go live, things we just want to have as nice to haves and feature improvements in the future. So really taking a moment to give this thing a really solid try. If you do that and you have feedback to give us, we want you to come to the workshop, and we'll send you the invite for that if you've had a chance to experiment with the software a bit. To do that, you'll simply just email the MLS@sfrealtors.com, and you'll say, hi, I'd like to request access to the workshop, and we'll ask you some qualifying questions and get you in the workshop. We need lots of people there for that. We've got our MLS and tech committee attending, and a few other people too.
And it's if your comments are, well, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, but I like one thing, that's fine. We need to hear this feedback, because this really helps us determine our timeline for launch. As we said at the beginning, this has been a tough year for everybody. We're not expecting, we don't want to just turn this on default for everybody without getting that additional feedback. I know Wyatt and Philippe feel the same way. They're trying to build software that makes sense and works for you guys. Philippe, I think you were going to take one of the questions that came in the queue. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the question was if statistics were still available. Wyatt, can you show them where to access the statistics on the right-hand side if you scroll down a little bit on that action pane?
So down on the right here, you have statistic. You can run statistics under the other option, and selecting that is going to just immediately give you the statistical summary, and you can go to the report view. You could print, email. You have the option statistics only. Before in the old system, you had statistic charts. You still have that available here in the upper right-hand corner. So selecting statistic and charts, this is going to give you the visual view plus the textile view. And then you can revise the criteria of the stats here as well. So that is still available in MLS 11. And once again, that is when you're at your results, you're on the right action panel here, you go down, you do have run statistics and exports under the other option here, right above the SSO links.
And while you're on that, something that came up in my own trainings with the MLS team is running CMAs. You might think CMAs would be in displays, but remember, it's over here to the right where your action items. Why would you just click CMA real quick?
Yeah.
Notice how it brings up the window that you might be familiar with when you used to run reports in MLS 10. You can select the various CMA options. And of course, you can click directly to, I just grabbed one of those, that's fine. You can also go directly to Cloud CMA, which is our alternative CMA product as well. So everything is still there. It's going to take a bit of exploring, no matter how many sessions you watch, right? Or it really requires, as Jay said, kick the tires, get in there. You're not going to break anything, right, guys? Anyway, thank you.
Yes.
And I think we have another couple questions. Yay! All right.
We do have a question about is the beta version reliable? And yes, we have been working on the beta for quite some time now, and it is live in multiple customers. We haven't received any issues. It's been mostly positive feedback from our customers. So again, if you do start going through it, you have feedback that you would like to present to your MLS, feel free to send it over to Jay and HUD, and we'll coordinate from there.
Great. There's a couple questions. I think this one is for us, Jay, from Donna.
Okay.
This may be one we have to take offline, Donna. It's a feature request about.
Right.
Daily,
there's a report that does essentially this. That's in InfoSparks, which is why it's never been added to to the MLS, but we'll take a look at the specific report again. Thanks, Don.
Awesome. Well, I think that's it, guys.
All right.
Should we
Well,
call it the first tire kicking session?
yeah.
And of course, if anybody has any questions, if you forget, what was covered here, feel free to give our help desk a call, and they'd be more than happy to walk you through anything you have questions on, anything you might be have a roadblock or just can't remember how to do with the MLS 11 functionality. So
well, that's important to touch on there, guys. So if someone is trying the new version, the Rapattoni support team will support the new version, even though it's in beta. That's great to know.
yes, sir. Yep.
Awesome.
Can we show them real quick, since we got a few on the line, how do they get help directly from Rapattoni? Let's take advantage of the 70 people we have here on the call.
All
Yeah.
right.
In the upper right-hand corner, or I guess it's in the middle of the screen, actually, in the black bar at the top here, you do have a help option. So there's a few things here. You have the online help, a learning center, but to directly contact us and just get in touch with one of us, you have the support center button here at the bottom. If you select the support center here, it's going to basically, you're going to go in and then it will have the agent sign in here. I'm under that test account, but it will give you the access to our phone number. And what I can do is we can actually just email out, we can attach the phone number if you'd like, HUD, to this when we send you over the video. We can
We can include that too. Yeah, it's the 1-800 number. Yeah.
But that is where you're going to go. You're going to go down to that help support center.
And Wyatt, if you also go to the home page, can you show them the support center module?
Yeah. And
There we go,
Yeah.
bottom right. And then over here as well, same thing. You can get directly to our support center from here. So there's a few ways to get in touch with our help desk.
And we got our training center there too. A question came in. I assume there are there MLS 11 training videos in the Learning Center already, or are they still MLS 10?
We do have one MLS 11 overview, but we will be building that out. So we do have one in there. It's just we're going to be building it out as the features progress and grow.
Yeah, like the smaller videos, not the ones that are an entire 45-minute training. We struggle with that too, right? We think that there's so much to learn, and they're like, but no one's going to watch a 45-minute video. They're going to watch a 5-minute video that's very specific. But at any rate, which reminds me of all this banter that we're having right here. We'll probably cut this out for the video that we're going to send out. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. And as Jay said, get in there. You know, Jay, why don't you close us out with what we want them to do again? Just so
So the action items here are pretty simple. Give the beta a shot. You're going to have access to it today. Try to do something that you know you need to do in your regular day-to-day. If you have any problems with it, you know, we want to hear about what that problem was. We want you to come to the workshop. Not only will you be asked what your experience was, but we're going to ask you if you have any ideas for how to make it work the way you think it should. And we're going to try to integrate as much of that as we can. We'll synthesize it and we'll provide that feedback to Rapattoni. But we're in this together. We're in this with you.
Well said, my friend. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. And thank you, Wyatt and Philippe, for taking the time today. Really appreciate it.
Hey, thank
Awesome.
you all.
Thank you.
Take care. All.
Bye-bye.
Bye.